Hello and welcome to US Tzu Chi 360. I'm your host, Didra Shatterson, and we're here at Picture the Homeless, where their mission is to educate and to fight for the civil liberties of the homeless. Their campaigns touch on housing, economic justice, weekly training classes, and of course, civil rights, just to name a few. But in the pursuit of the American dream, many imagine having a successful career, a loving family, a beautiful home, and to relax in paradise when they retire. But in a 2008 report published by the US Census Bureau, 9.7% of people aged 65 and above live in poverty. That's 3.7 million people. So as the nation's population ages, and 6 years later, not to mention with the financial crisis in between, paradise becomes just a dream for more and more of us. So let's hop inside and meet one of this organization's volunteers now. Today, I have the privilege of being joined by Kendall Jackman from Picture the Homeless here in the Bronx in New York City, who has experienced this reality firsthand. And I thank you very much for joining us, Kendall.
Thank you for having me.
So I wanted to know, what has your experience been like living on the brink of homelessness?
Actually, I was homeless. July of 2008, my uncle had a heart attack. My daughter and I were only relatives, and she's in Florida, so I had to take care of my uncle. I didn't have enough family medical leave working at the post office, and then they wanted his medical records, which weren't any of their business, so I was suspended. And at the same time, my house I was living in, my landlady went into foreclosure. Things snowballed from there. I didn't win my unemployment, so in September 2009, I found myself in the system. And March of last year, I moved into single-room occupancy, which is a dorm-like room, mini kitchen area, hot plate type situation, bathroom. I pay rent. I can have visitors. I don't have to sign in and out, but it's still the underground shelter system.
So did you ever imagine yourself being in this situation as you were entering your golden years?
Not really. Pensions may or may not cover the prices that are coming into play, and not just the rentals. Social Security definitely is not covering it. You hope you don't find yourself like this, but the elderly are more making up a large portion of the homeless population. Like you said, folks did what they were supposed to do, and they didn't think they'd find themselves in this situation. In my situation, it snowballs, and you find yourself where you didn't think you'd be after doing what you were supposed to do: go to work, pay your taxes, raise your family, you know. And you, like you said, you thought you would maybe not paradise, but at least comfortable. And then you find yourself in a shelter, or living with children, or living with other friends, or some instances out on the street, because I'm seeing more and more seniors on the train with their belongings, or on a street corner with their belongings. And it's not right.
Perhaps when you wake out of bed every morning, what for you are some of the major things that are on your mind? Some concerns?
My back and my leg. So the health issues, but we hope that Mayor de Blasio does what he says he's going to do, and that we can work with him and have truly affordable housing in the city. The housing needs to be available not only for the elderly, but the disabled. And we have nearly 70,000 children in the system who are in the city who are homeless, and they and their families need a home so they can have a stable foundation so they can grow up and do what they need to do in school and become somebody productive.
So what are some of the major obstacles that you would say people over the age of 50 face in overcoming homelessness?
Having enough money, unless politicians pay attention and reel in real estate and reel in the banks, prices are going to continue to go up, but Social Security won't, pensions won't. If they can't find somebody to live with, they're going to find themselves on the train, on the street, in shelter. It's all about the dollar bill, and the dollar bill is not with the folks who need it, it's with the folks who don't need it, and they're asking for more dollars, and we don't have it, so.
Well, I thank you very much for highlighting those points for us, Kendall.
You're welcome.
And now I'd like to introduce you to a gentleman named Ray Shu, who was actually on the brink of homelessness last year while he was in the pursuit of his own American dream.
有什么惯不惯？我们又不，对不对？怎么讲？这要怎么讲？不惯也得惯了， 是不是？
30-some years ago, after his parents passed away, Ray Shu traveled alone from Taiwan to the US to open a restaurant with his friends. He traveled to places like Chicago, Florida, Houston, and New Mexico. He still couldn't get used to such a busy lifestyle, so he decided to sell the restaurant. The feng shui and fortune-telling he learned from his father therefore became his way of making a living. Even so, he still cannot predict his own fortune.
A friend of mine in California invited me to come here, so I came. Relocating was not a problem for me because I was all by myself anyway. He knew that I knew feng shui and stuff, so he took me to this motel. Why? Because there's a lot of Chinese people around this neighborhood. But when I came here, the economy was going down and I didn't know anyone around here. At the time, I didn't have a bank account. Since it was inconvenient to carry cash around, I left it with this friend. He cheated me, took all my money away, and I can't find him anywhere. He cheated me.
In the beginning, he's never late for the rent, but he started to delay the payments. Perhaps no one was helping him, and he's old, about 70 years old. The rent started to become a burden for him.
With no one to help, Ray Shu couldn't get his money back. Still, reality got tough and he couldn't afford his rent anymore.
All told, I had about $10,000 taken away from me. All gone. Now I'm being evicted, forced to leave.
Every day, Ray Shu walks to a nearby 99-cent store to get a free newspaper and buys a lottery ticket with the few coins he's left, hoping to win a fortune and escape his situation.
He comes in the morning to get a newspaper. Then a few hours later, he comes in again to buy a lottery ticket. I asked him why he has to make 2 trips instead of 1. He said he was predicting the best timing to buy the ticket in order to beat the odds.
Usually, if the rents are not paid for a week, we give the tenant a 3-week notice. Without a doubt, but we're more flexible with our Chinese folks. In this case, 1 to 2 month delay was unacceptable.
With love and care, his neighbor, Carrie Gao, contacted Tzu Chi to get involved. The motel then decided not to evict Ray Shu, but asked him to switch rooms. Being a Tzu Chi care recipient and having been through a similar situation herself, Carrie didn't hesitate to reach out to Ray Shu.
I know how it feels to be alone, the helplessness of being alone. You have nowhere to find help when you go through difficult times. I still have some friends and sisters. He doesn't have any friends or family. No one.
水台这里有，跟墙壁要有一个距离，要不然它不散热。就这样可以了哈。它不在你位置。
I understood his hopelessness because I'd been there myself. I just offered my help when he needed it.
你晚上睡觉来，这个放在这里好吗？
The night before the volunteers' visit, his bleak reality forced Ray Shu to the edge of a breakdown, even though he had Carrie's help.
The sink doesn't have water. The kitchen doesn't have electricity. Water's leaking onto the carpet.
I knocked on his door because the front desk told me to check on him. There was no response when we knocked, so I asked the front desk to force the door open and found him drunk, lying on the floor. When we picked him up, he was rambling, saying he didn't want to live and that he wanted to burn the house down and commit suicide.
Living there didn't mean anything to me. I bought some alcohol and I poured it around. I didn't use gasoline because burning gasoline creates smoke, whereas alcohol doesn't. I spread newspapers all around so that the fire would spread quickly. I opened the AC and the 2 exhaust fans, and I tampered with the smoke detector. If I hadn't, the detector would sound when I lit the fire, and the fire department would come before I died. At 3:30 in the morning, everyone would be asleep, so that would give me a couple more minutes to ensure I was fully dead. Whatever.
When we arrived in his room, his bed was filled with clothes. We were so horrified at that time.
When you have no income, the difficulties of life are tough. Not only is he old, but he has little opportunity to find work at his age. Social Security is no help because he doesn't have legal status.
With Tzu Chi's love and care, he stopped thinking about suicide. First of all, don't let him generate bad karma. He will generate a great deal of bad karma if he commits suicide.
Our sincere help made him feel the warmth of being loved and let him know that he was not alone. The volunteers gave him enough positive energy to alter his suicidal thoughts.
It was Carrie who helped me when I fell down. She saved my life by contacting Tzu Chi. Nevertheless, Tzu Chi saved my life. Really? If they had not come during those 15 hours, I would have been dead by then.
After recovering from the shadow of his suicide attempt, Ray Shi accidentally fell in his room once again.
The water pipe in his bathroom was broken. That's his whole bathroom. He only had a small space for cooking. It wasn't really meant for cooking, but that was the only space he had. The whole floor was wet, and when the volunteers arrived, he slipped by himself while entering the bathroom. The volunteers called the motel staff for help immediately.
His injured leg was still in black bruises, so we asked him if he had seen any doctors. He said no, because he couldn't afford it. We then asked him if he would like to go to the Tzu Chi clinic. He agreed, so we took him there.
Master's teachings ask us to provide what people need the most, to think about what is best for each individual. Her teachings also ask us to explore and activate his compassion through interaction. She asks us not only to provide him with physical goods, but also to teach him to be grateful, respectful, and compassionate. In addition to material aid, whether rent or food, we need to help him understand that he has people to help him. Not only that, but he should also give back and help others, or help himself when he has the chance.
While reaching out to people in need, the Tzu Chi volunteers hope that one day Ray Shi is able to change from a care recipient to a person who is able to give love and care to others in need.
你也那个也帮了一大忙。
没有了，谢谢，千能都让他落叶归根了。
OK。
你们谢谢照顾，谢谢。
因为他没有身份。Volunteers in San Dimas tried to figure out how to get Ray Xu back to his hometown with the help of volunteers from Taiwan. At the same time, they evaluated his family's condition there to see if they were able to take him in. Through effort and love, they tried to help Ray Xu live a peaceful life.
He tried to contact his family for help before.
It's not that they don't want to have him back. They do. But they are not capable of supporting his living.
He has nothing, so we have to consider all of the issues. He doesn't have a family to help pay for his flight. I'm glad that Joseph Xu from Disaster Relief at the Taipei Economic and Cultural Office and our charity staff helped out. The local government in Taiwan and the daycare center are all willing to accept Louis Xu in his golden years.
The TECO contacted them right away. Zhu Xiu's status needs to be renewed. So his Taiwan passport and IDs in the U.S. needed to be copied and sent back to Taiwan.
We don't yet know if this will work. However, everyone is doing their best to make it happen. If, on the other hand, he continues to live here in the U.S., he will be doing so illegally. But if we can get him back to Taiwan, as he is a citizen there, he won't be violating any U.S. laws.
When we are helping people in need, we don't speak to them like we are here to help you. We aren't seeking anything in return. We are just grateful to have the opportunity to help them. The humanity culture aspect of Tzu Chi is what sets us different from other non-profit organizations.
I am so happy to see his problems are being solved and that his situation is able to be changed to such a great ending.
I think Roy Xu will have a new life now. He doesn't need to tell his own fortune and do his own feng shui. Master Chen Yin once said, any time is a good time, and any day is a good day. We don't need to do feng shui.
Once it has been activated, the power of one's heart cannot be overestimated. Once you set your mind, made a resolution, the resulting power is very substantial. His activation, his will returning. This all comes from the interaction he had with our volunteers. I think that this is what touched his heart.
Here, the warmth and love from the Tzu Chi volunteers meant more to Ray Xu than buying a lottery ticket at the right time.
几个月来我们大家都在陪伴他了，这样希望呢他那个高高兴兴回台湾。外交部都会在那边，都在我那边了。
要做环保啊！做环保啊！把它收好哈，讲好。
了解一段心事，功德圆满了。谢谢你，不会不会。
Welcome back. I'm now joined by Arvernetta Henry, who is currently without a permanent home. So Arvernetta, how did you come into your current situation?
I came into because of financial situation started with my family. My husband became gravely ill, and he was working for a private industry. He had a heart attack, and bills were paid, the medical expenses. And so what we had to do was come apart in order to pay the bills and everything. I decided to go into the system because I was told that I can get housing quicker. When you're on a fixed income, the cost of living is not always calculated into the rising housing market of the rents. And at this point, the rents in New York is so high, it keeps the senior citizens in the shelter system because there is very limited subsidies for them. See, the mass population do not know the truth. I was going to work, and they were saying, well, you're working, but you're not working full-time, and you need to go to our program. I got a part-time job with my teaching job. The caseworker called my job and informed them that I was in a shelter. The supervisor confronted me. I said, yes, I'm in the shelter. She said, well, Miss Henry, we can't have you here. I lost my job there.
What are some of the biggest stereotypes that you would like to see change about the elderly homeless?
I would like to see them change the policy where no one can turn a senior citizen down for employment, especially if they have the skills. I would like the shelter system. When an elderly person do not have the skills like computer skills, to get them into a program and have them retrained so they can re-enter the job market. Keep them up on the skills of today. Help them to the point that when they want to go for a job interview, they are equipped, sharp, and no one can turn them down. And we don't want to push the young people out the job market. No, we want to help you. And so I believe that senior citizens, let's call us mature adults, we have something to offer to society and to the youth.
Thank you very much, Arvinetta, for helping our audience clarify some of those misconceptions about the elderly homeless.
Thank you.
And I still want to lift the curtain of our own reality. The Homeless Research Institute in 2010 reported that the elderly population, being 65 or older, is above 37 million. And by 2050, the Census Bureau estimates that this number will increase to 87 million people, including me as one of them. And 87 million? That's about the current population of Mexico. So how can we plan to take care of our aging population? How can we ensure that every person is able to have a roof over their heads? The growing danger is well quoted in Master's words. There are two things in life that cannot wait: fulfilling filial piety and doing good deeds. Here, filial piety meaning honoring the past efforts and dignity of our elders, and doing good deeds as well, you know. I'm Dilbar Shatterson, and thanks for joining us this week. And catch us next time as we learn about one of our nation's other problems, the financial crisis. But for now, here from Picture the Homeless in the Bronx, New York, goodbye, and we'll see you soon.